Morning folks, a couple of days before Christmas Day here in Australia, and I've woken early, been up since before 5. I'm out in the glass house. It's a beautiful morning here, the sun's now risen and the lighting is amazing. Couple of things that are been on mind. Last evening was the Sextant Crop Circle, and some of the new developments are that in the Sextant Crop Circle I found a face a few months ago now actually, and in something that I call the brown image, there was the trace in the field of a face of somebody wearing something like VR goggles, or like one of those military scopes where you look through one eye normally, but the other eye has a computer screen, little computer screen over it. And so I've traced that out and put that online the other day, and that's a little bit significant because it sort of falls in line with other information that we've got, and that relates to the Hackpen Hill Crop Circle. That's the round linguistic one that I use for my name insignia now. And the remarkable thing is what connects some of these things together into a theme. The Hackpen Hill Crop Circle that appeared a few months ago, very controversial crop circle, and it was first thought that it was made by a New Zealand singer, that she had that, she paid for that to be made, but since then the crop circle's been examined on the ground, the one in the UK at least anyway, and it's been found to be a genuine crop circle. So that changes everything quite a lot. The other thing was that crop circle seems to be pointing towards the linguistic aspect through me. It just so happens that from one aspect of viewing that Hackpen Hill Crop Circle, you can see my initials, all three initials, including my middle initial, which appears in the middle of the signature, just where it should be, so the signature's in the correct order. So that's pretty remarkable. And then, so that's 3 data points there that are relevant with that Hackpen Hill Crop Circle, that point towards the linguistics, but also, being a linguistic crop circle as well in itself. But also, a few years ago, I hid a signature, started to hide a signature in documentation that I was producing, just in my daily activities, and there's only one other person that knows that signature. So the signature would have been difficult to spot, but I know this particular scientist would have known it was there, made sure it was pretty obvious. So he would have been the only one that would have known that signature was there. And what's happened is that secret signature appeared in the Hackpen Hill crop circle with my initials in the correct position as well. So you've got 4 strong data points there, which mean that the proof for that is a pretty high sigma level of proof. So that's very interesting, and you can have a look at that that little monogram that I use on my Twitter there for yourself. I'll be updating it periodically as I learn more about the crop circle. I'm still deciphering it. Excuse my voice. And so I'm still finding out more about that crop circle. It also has little waves through it, little strokes. It could be seen as little waves. If you take those waves and isolate them from the drawing or the crop circle, they look like a tornado type thing. So that's a little bit interesting in itself, that it formed that sort of shape. And also, obviously relevant to crop circles is the Crop Circle Connector main website. So you could also see those C's, those strokes, as pointing to the Crop Circle Centre website, where a lot of people and scientists and so forth who study crop circles place their findings and their hypothesis and stuff like that. So that's another interesting sort of pointer there. And it's mostly a lot of this stuff is about gathering these data points and seeing what interrelates, what might mean something. So we're gathering all these data points as we're analysing it, and trying to see if there's any real meaning to that data. And when you get a certain number of things that all sort of form a picture, you can be as certain as you can be about the fact that there's something a bit more to it. So that's been very interesting. And then of course finding the hidden face with wearing the technology in the Sextant Crop Circle images that have been missed for the last decade or so. That's very interesting too. So that Sextant Crop Circle is also one of the ones that contains the high volumes of output messages, and that's got a capacity also probably well over 3 million, and I always say 3.125 million graphemes, just to be consistent, because that's where my calculator errored out when trying to calculate the volume of that. So we don't know the true volume. It's obviously going to be much greater than that, and that's why I say that's a conservative number, because I wasn't finished calculating the number of combinations available for storage capacity, for linguistic storage capacity within that crop circle. So that's why I liken it to a hard drive vessel. and I use the word vessel on purpose rather than hard drive volume, because the word vessel has turned up in other data that has high meaning. So, and the word vessel is significant alongside the name journey, alongside the insignia 000, which is Australia's emergency call number. So you see there are all these interesting things lining up that we have to give consideration to because of the high numbers of the things that are lining up like that. So it's certainly gotten very interesting now with the large number of these interesting alignments. And also, you've got that CJ deciphered encoding from the Georgia Close Encounter event back in 2015. And so I think Linda Howe passed it along to Dr. Horace Drew, and Dr. Drew deciphered that the code, the CJ codes that he wrote down in his sleep state as binary. And what Dr. Drew wrote down in English, once he deciphered it, that very closely matches the description of the Australian linguistics, the linguistics that I've discovered here, Crop Circle Linguistics. And so the linguistics here have unique properties in volume and in methodology. They're not like any other ancient language or anything like that. They've got these unique properties, and the CJ codes, as I refer to them, describe extremely accurately, really, the Australian discovered linguistics, crop circle linguistics. So all these things are coming together and forming this picture that's gotten very interesting. And there's barely a week goes by where there's not something major else that comes along and of high interest. So that adds to the overall picture. So yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. So I'm going to pause her up there for a minute and just see where I want to go with this from now. Well, so the obvious thing is, why would all of this be forming this type of picture? Why would so many of these, scattered events all correlate and look like they're coordinated and trying to form a whole picture? Well, that's a good question. I think is pointing, all of it is pointing or attempting to point to the Australian linguistics here. And you might say, well, why is that? Well, what's been found in the linguistics, in the encoded linguistics here, is messages of importance, is what I describe them as. They're warnings on disasters, and their guidances on behaviours. But overall, it's a close examination of humanity. And, they're writing, these entities, whoever they are writing down in these messages what it is they're observing about humanity. And they're obviously very intelligent, and they obviously can predict things, whether it be by calculating our timeline trajectory, or by maybe even seeing into the future, or being in the future, or being able to obtain information from the future. So that's a very interesting aspect. And so I think maybe they're trying to alert people to look into these Australian linguistics. Sometimes I call them the Roper codes. That's my surname. I'm not hiding my name. I've published a paper, a discovery paper. It's in public, so I'm not hiding my name. That's very interesting, and so I think the phenomenon itself is trying to point to these linguistics, to have you take a bit more notice of the warnings and the communications that have been encoded there. Now, I don't think they want everybody to know, which is why they're encoded. I think they wanted me to reach out to certain people and have more of a behind the scenes analysis of the Australian linguistic encodings by experienced phenomenological researchers. And I think that's what they were trying to do. But I've not been able to gain enough interest from these researchers to have them, to clue them in and say, look, this is dangerous stuff. Let's have a think tank behind the scenes about this and see what it means to the whole UFO picture. And but I haven't managed to be able to do that. Don't have enough clout. It's not driving enough interest. The linguistic findings on their own. Crop circles are seen as of little interest to ufology currently for some reason. It's just seen as a totally different thing that's not related to UFOs, and nothing could be further from the truth. It's totally related to UFOs. In fact, most of the things that people who study UFOs are looking for, the answers are here in the crop circles, in the linguistics, and in the bigger picture there. So it's very frustrating for me to watch everybody not catching on. I keep making these videos and I keep speaking about all this over the last 5 years, more than 5 years now. And I just hope you'll catch on and find out there's a lot more to all this. And maybe I will get to have that behind the scenes analysis of this where it's safe. And yesterday I was discussing with Dr. Drew on Twitter a few things about what we're discussing here, and he mentions the Julian Assange case, and I said to him, well, I'm not sure that this will be a Julian Assange number 2, because this is phenomenological, and I don't think they are going to want to put focus on this in the same way they did sort of Julian Assange. Once they learn that it's phenomenological and it's exposing secrets they thought would never get out. So the encoders of the linguistics, yes, they tell the story, but they do it within safe limits, and I think we've got to trust that. Trust that they've encoded these messages in such a way that they're not a fatal threat to national or international security, but enough of a threat to say, look guys, secrecy is over, the age of secrecy needs to finish. And I think that's what they're doing here, is they're trying to say, we're going to now expose a lot of the things, the secrets that have been withheld from people. And then that age of secrecy is over, and that's what they're doing in these linguistic messages. And it's a deep analysis of humanity that they're doing, and I think they're doing it down to very fine levels where they're probably even here watching me now doing this. I think they have that capability. So that's where we're at. There's those words again. So I'll pause her up again, just have a little think where to take it from here again. Yeah, I was just thinking, one thing I should mention is that I had a lot of trouble getting images for the Sextant Crop Circle, and it was delayed by years because I couldn't get any help on getting good images, and I needed to have the shape and design of that crop circle accurate when I did the tracing of it, and that's what I decipher from. So it's now computer graphic deciphering, and so that was Crop Circle was put down in 2009 in the UK, and it wasn't deciphered until 2021, and so the incredible thing about it is that it didn't talk about events in 2009. It named events in 2021, 2020, 2022 for this era. It's talking about things that are relevant now in the message output. So they must have known when it was going to be deciphered. So we just continually see this proof that they can see through time, and they did that by naming the current American president in a safe way. There's a small measure of deniability there, so plausible deniability, which is what I'm mentioning here today, that the encoders have put in there when they're spilling the beans and all this secrecy. They just go far enough, and that's all, to just give the message that secrecy is over. And they just put enough plausible deniability in there to keep it all on the safe side, sort of thing, without it being like direct intelligence, like writing down people's full names and giving the full details. They go just far enough, and that's all, to send a strong message. And that this is going over and over, and this is obviously designed for the person who eventually was able to decipher these linguistics. It was obviously designed to keep them safe, and they haven't gone too far that when the news does come out that I'm going to be hunted down and knocked off because I'm spilling national secrets, So that's what I'm hoping. That's how I'm hoping the agencies and governments are going to see it anyway. I hope I can get them to also see that that's how it is, but also know that the age of secrecy is over, because these entities will keep telling the public the secrets. And as it says in my profile details, I vault those messages away under a password to protect what intelligences have been found, and I only release the occasional thing. So that's what I do, and then I try and think of a safe way forward for me. And the problems there are my security, my family's security, the security of the phenomenological researchers who keep asking me to spill the beans without realising the dangers. You know, the security of everybody is important. So that's why I don't just come out with everything. So that's why I'm just trying to find this safe way forwards. I'm not getting the publicity that I need. I need just a little bit more, not too much, just a little bit more and a little bit more, and just ease it out there. And eventually everyone will come to know it as a new area of phenomenology, and I think when it comes out, it'll change the whole picture. It's a shame it hasn't come out already, because a lot of people go in different directions because of the fact that this information hasn't come out. So if they had the overview of the linguistics here, I think their choice of directions in phenomenology would be a little bit different. I think the picture would change knowing about all of this. So that's where we're at, and I think I probably should end the video there, and thanks for listening, and I'll come back with some additional information on either this subject or a new subject at some time soon. I'm expecting some time off over Christmas, and hopefully in the mood to make a few videos for you guys and bring you up to speed on everything. So I'm getting over the censorship problems on my account. I've sidestepped them for now, so they've in essence finished my current video series through copyright technicalities, so they're really looking for every little excuse they can to put a copyright strike on, and there might be some funny business going on there. So anyway, working around those things, and I've started a new video series, so that should all fall into place now, and I've got a little segment for these just screw of the moment type things, so that'll be a bit more interesting for you guys. A lot less formal and casual like it is now, and then I'll have my other part of the video series where I announce the main discoveries, and then there's the series where I discuss things. Then there's a series where I just casually talk like this, and then there's going to be another series where I talk about linguistic methodology, and I haven't started that series yet. So I'll be actually explaining the workings of the linguistics and the discovery paper in detail, and at that point it's pretty much game over for anyone who's got doubts, I think. Obviously the problem there is I'll be giving over methodology to an international audience, and that means they'll have their hands on American intelligences. So it's going to be an interesting ride to see what happens between now and then. So let's hope we can forge a way forward safely, and let's hope that the responses to the linguistics are also within safe bounds for everyone involved studying it. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you some other time shortly. Cheers, guys.